Welcome back. We're doing classes now, and we want to go to bed tonight, so let's do this really quickly. First, commons and neutrals. We're doing Shaman first. We have this nice little scale going on. We're going to start with like the
You mean
most...
commons and rares.
What did I say?
Commons and neutrals.
So it's late. Commons and rares, and we're starting with Shaman because it's the most elemental class, and we're going to shift from most elemental slowly into most adapting and beastie kind of thing, because they have this rough curve going on. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to transition from elementals to adaptation beasts. We could do that.
Yep.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally right.
Thing,
all right. Yeah. So we're going to start with elementals, go into the adapt classes, then move on to the beast classes, and we'll do rogue at the very end because rogue is weird in Ungoro. So shaman, we're going to do cards first, and then we'll talk about what the shaman's going to look like and feel like in Ungoro.
Why was that a question?
It's hard to remember that word because it's a nonsensical word.
Fantastic. You want to take the first card?
No. What is the first card?
Okay, that's great. First card is Volcano. Card that we previously talked about. Volcano is a 5-mana rare spell for shamans. It's coming in at a 126 on the tier score, so quite a good card, right?
I was going to say quite a crappy card, because do you see how many cards are above Volcano?
I mean, look, there are definitely cards above it, but it's still a card that you're going to pick, right? It's definitely above average. So Volcano is 5 mana, deal 15 damage.
16 cards that are rare or common, class cards for Shaman, are above Volcano.
Yeah.
16 cards.
But all those, I mean, those are really freaking good cards. Shaman has a lot of good cards. That's one of the things about Shaman.
Okay, but 16 cards. Do you remember how many neutral cards are better than the snail?
Not a lot.
The answer is no, none.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of them are better than the wasp? The answer is still none. The glacial guy? None. The 8/8 guy that like freezes itself?
How does that relate to this?
What I'm trying to say is that shamans have crappy cards.
In this expansion. Right.
That's what I'm trying to get
relative to the cards that they already have, like Hex or Jade Claws,
or just in general, there's always overpowered class cards, and you're going to see some pretty good class cards in other classes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like, this is awful. This is an awful best card to have, even though it's a pretty good card.
Best card to have.
Yes.
Although it is a pretty good card still, because, and you can see we rated it at a 126. Volcano, if you can let me finish what it is, thank you very much. It's a 5-mana spell, deals 15 damage, split randomly among all minions with Overload 2. So you're basically paying 7 mana to deal 15 damage. It's good in a way, and it can potentially be bad in a way. But it is good in that it's not an even amount of damage, in that they can put like high health minions with low health minions, sort of spread that out to make sure you can't possibly clear it. If you can count, so basically if you're not Advocta and you can count, you can make sure that you can kill everything on the board as long as it is under 15. So that is what is good about Volcano.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have something to say, Ad?
No, it's good. It's good. Volcano's good, man. It's 7 mana. It's a lot. It's Flame Strike levels. And so you need to really make it deal Flame Strike levels of damage. But it's very flexible with it. And you just have to kill your whole board. Like, that's the thing, right? You got to kill your whole board. And sometimes you want to do that. Sometimes you don't. And if you have any totems, it makes it awkward. It's a more awkward card than I think people may think.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Next card, I really like this. This is a card we rated almost as highly as Volcano. It's a 124. This is like Bomb Squad level. We're a big-time Racketeer level, right? Like with Volcano and Hot Spring Guardian. Hot Spring Guardian is a 3-mana 2/4 taunt, which we've seen before in the Squirming Tentacles, and then has a Battle Cry Restore 3 health, which we've seen in Earthen Ring Farseer, and then it's also an Elemental on top of that. In Shaman, the Elemental class.
This is a good card. This is a really, really good card.
This is like when designing this card, I feel like Blizzard's just like, let's take a book from Overwatch. Let's just make a new card and just give it all the utility. Just any little thing from stuff we've done before, give it to them.
What? So this is Orisa?
This is Orisa. It even taunts. It's a tank.
Oh God. All right. Well, this is Orisa. Confirmed. Yeah. Nothing more to say about it. Like it just does a lot of stuff that you want for 3 mana.
Yep.
So. Yep.
Next card, Tidal Surge.
Tidal Surge. So this is at a 117 tier score. It is 4 mana spell, and it says deal 4 damage to a minion. So no Smork, sorry, and restore 4 health to your hero. It's okay.
It's decent removal.
It's removal, and there is always value in removal, right? Like.
Here's the thing with removals, with the spell bonus, especially in the offering odds, and the set bonus, which is double what your other sets are for Ungoro. If you have a spell that is a removal, you're just in a much better position than classes that don't for Ungoro, just because you see it more consistently. And remember, it's an answer-response meta. Sorry, threat and response meta. You need responses. Tidal Surge is not a great response, but it is a response.
Yeah. You're going to need this to kill off a snail 1 or 2 times.
You will. You will definitely do it. Because you need to protect your 4 mana 7/7s.
Yep.
Next card, we have an Air Elemental. It's a 1 mana 2/1, can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Now you may think, hey, it can't be pinged away by the mage, which is great. But, like, it can still be killed by the rogue and the druid, because their hero powers don't respect this can't be targeted by spells or hero powers deal. They're just going to hit it. But hey, it does prevent you from getting pinged off by the mage, which is good. And it's an elemental for 1 mana. Again, the elemental triggers for 1 mana are very clutch.
Right. So, after that, we have Firepool Harbinger at an 88 tier score. 2 mana for a 1/1 elemental. Battle cry, reduce the cost of elementals in your hand by 1. 88 is not a good score. And this card is not good as well. I think that's appropriate.
Primal Fin Totem. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Murloc. So this is like the crappy version of... So this is like even worse than the Plume thing. Because it's a crappy version of the Imp Gang boss. It's 2 mana 0/3, and you get a 1/1, before your opponent's turn starts. And so if they have something on the board, you're dead. Like if they have a 2/3, it hits the 0/3, you generate another 1/1, it hits the 0/3 again, and you have basically 2 1/1s dealing with the 2/3. Bad. If they have a 3/2, they kill this immediately, so you have a 1/1 dealing with a 3/2. It doesn't work.
No.
It fails to work. What it does...
I have to say, this totem looks mesmerizing. It is stupid in the best way possible. Like, I can't stop staring at this totem. Sorry.
But yeah, okay, so it sucks. They made a totem. It's a crappy totem. Let's move on.
86 score on the tier list. Is
did
that
we
it
go
for
through all 6 cards? Did we skip a card?
No, I think that's it.
Really?
What?
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. That was quick. No, this is good. So let's go into the epic cards.
Right. Coming in, so the epic card that we're first going to talk about is Stone Sentinel. This is a 128 on the tier list. 7 mana for... We have the 7 mana 4/4 elemental. Battle cry, if you played an elemental last turn, summon 2/3 elementals with taunt. So you kind of get like a feral spirit out of it. If you think about it this way, it's like almost surprising that it is this high, because you need a trigger, and without a trigger, it is terrible. It is like you lose so much value if you don't play an elemental. But if you play an elemental, it just becomes like pretty good. Not even insane, right? Not even like the most insane thing you've ever seen. It just becomes like pretty good. But you are going to get so many elementals that this thing you should be able to control when you trigger, because elementals are a thing in which your opponents don't really have a say in win, or like your elementals don't have to survive. You just have to play them. Yep. And
Finally, Spirit Echo.
Yep.
3 mana. Give your minions death rattle. Return this to your hand. Hey, think of it as Infest for the Hunter, but this is for the Shaman. And you can return minions to your hand, which is pretty good. It's like drawing new cards. It's only 3 mana. You're going to, at the very least, return 1 thing to your hand if it whiffs. But otherwise, you're going to get 2, maybe 3. Depends, right? If you play smaller minions, you get more of them. Pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Now, on to the legendary.
On to the legendary. The legendary is Kalimos Primal Lord. I feel like you have to say it that way.
I don't really want
Kalimos Primal Lord.
Okay, so do you want to introduce this card? Because I don't want to say that.
Kalimos Primal Lord is an 8 mana 7/7 with Battlecry. If you played an elemental last turn, cast an elemental invocation. And what is an elemental invocation, you may ask? An elemental invocation is deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Now, there's other stuff, but it's deal 3 damage to all enemy minions because the other stuff get progressively worse.
Well, okay, think of it this way. It can also be okay. So let's just go through all of the options. Invocation of Air is deal 3 damage to all enemy minions, which is really good. Invocation of Earth is fill your board with 1/1 elemental, so it's like a smaller Onyxia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Invocation of Water is restore 12 health to your hero. You might use this like 1 out of.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to use it, you use it, right? Like.
Right. And Invocation of Fire, which is what Twitch chat will use all the time, is deal 6 damage to the enemy hero.
Hey,
still pretty good.
Lethal. That's reach.
Yeah, lethal. Reach. It's a weird fireball. Well, it's a fireball with a body, right? But yeah, with Kalimos, you get to choose, and the AoE effect only affects enemy minions. And yeah, you pay 8 mana. You get 4 ridiculously powerful spells. And like we said, on average, you should be able to trigger. Because if you play smart as well, hopefully you just don't burn all of your hand before you're able to play Kalimos. If you have a choice, right? If you have the choice. So this thing has insane value, comes in at 242. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Shaman.
That is the best legendary, by the way. It's the best card by far. We're gonna get a better card, but this would be the best card in the entire game, if not for another card in Ungoro.
Oh God, no.
What?
Okay, never mind. I can hold myself together. Okay. Anyways, part of the reason that this has such a high score is not only the frequency that you can proc its effect. It's also choice, right? We value choice and discover very highly. This is like the ultimate kind of discovery where you know all of the choices and you can still choose, and they're all ridiculously powerful. So Kalimos is just one of those cards that this will win you the game. And if you need the heal, it'll heal you. If you just need the Onyxia effect, it's great. But yeah, make sure you draft this card.
Yeah, and also there's some back-end stuff that hasn't been done. This card's actually going to be higher than this. It may actually end up being higher than the other card, which we'll get to in a bit. It may actually end up being higher than that. But they're in actually tighter competition than I thought they were going to be, and we're tweaking a couple things because obviously this is not like a card we've seen before. But yeah, it is that good. And if you're wondering, like, wow, how could it be that good? Like, think about if it's an Abyssal Enforcer, which it kind of is for 1 more mana and having a bigger body, but it's also an elemental, and you get choices, and you're not a warlock, so you don't really care as much about hurting yourself.
Right, but if you do have a board, you also don't hurt your own stuff.
Yes, which is huge.
Which is huge. Like, really ridiculously huge. So, yeah, this card is ridiculous.
All right.
Anyways.
That's Shaman. How do you play Shaman? How does Shaman work?
How does Shaman work? Well,
how does Shaman work? Yes.
Unfortunately, like you said, Shamans didn't get any like super defining like common card, right? As in, they didn't get like a super card that will carry them and just saying like, oh, this is what you do now. And it kind of makes sense because they're sort of about elementals. So, and there's a lot of neutral elementals. So you play Shaman, And unfortunately, I hate saying this, but just try to draft as many elementals as possible because a lot of your cards just work with elementals. So, you're still going to play the board. You're still going to do totems. You're still going to do flame tongues. You're still going to do your, board stuff. But past that, you are really, really looking to trigger those elementals now because you are like
you have a lot of elementals, right? And if you have a lot of elementals, all the cards that use elementals get better. Yes. And when cards that use elemental get better, is you need to pick more elementals. That's just just the effect that it has. Now, Shaman itself doesn't really have cards that make elementals that much better.
No,
like we're looking at something like a Firepool Harbinger, right? Like you don't want that card. You're not gonna get that card in your deck all that often, and you don't want it, right? It's just not. You need to have so many elementals for it to be good. It's just generally not worth it. On the other hand, you do have this epic card, which is actually good, and which you will draft, and you will have enough elementals to use it. That would be the Stone Sentinel. And that will anchor, like, epic cards don't show up a lot, but it's a class epic card. So it is still, and it has the Ungoro bonus. So you're going to be offered Stone Sentinels, half a Stone Sentinel every single round, like every single draft. So it is a consideration because this is a card that's very good if you have an elemental to trigger it, and you will just naturally have enough elementals to trigger it.
Right. We have a lot of very good neutral elementals. So, yep. Anyways, that is Shaman. Are we moving on? Do you have any more words of wisdom?
No. This is so one of the things to realize about Shaman though is I think I want to stress this. It doesn't have a lot of things to do with the elementals. It's more being carried by the fact that you will very frequently have a whole ton of elementals. But the elementals are still not going to do all that much. So what you're really looking at is like Blaze Caller. Like that's where your value is. Because I've said it before, your cards kind of suck as Shaman and Ungoro. They really do. So, and it's not like elementals are like terribly great by themselves. You need, like, they're just triggers. You need to be able to use the triggers. So you can seamlessly use the triggers as Shaman, but Blaze Caller really becomes your class card. Like you have a couple of other cards in the common and rare spots that, you know, they're not terribly highly rated normally, but they get higher rated in Shaman for this exact reason, right? I am struggling to find these cards because I don't know the names off the top of my head. But you have like stuff that adapts. No, not the Fledgling. I'm also searching for them in the wrong place because I'm used to seeing them in neutral. There we go. Like a Ravensor Runt. No, that's not it. Need to go even higher. Why are... Oh, because this isn't by... My bad. My bad.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Terrible.
Horrible.
Terrible. Oh my gosh.
Can you think of an example? Like
I don't even know what you're...
I'm talking about the neutral cards that use elementals.
Neutral cards that use elementals?
Yeah.
Tovir, Stone Shaper?
Yes, there we go. That's a good one. Like a Tovir Stone Shaper, 131. For example, right? That's like a good Shaman card. Alright, I just wanted to make that point. That's where your value is coming from.
Fantastic. That's great. That's good for you.
Okay. But like, I want to reiterate, there's nothing happening with the Shaman, right? There's no good cards. There's no good cards happening here. Like, there are okay cards. You have a Volcano, which is a double-sided board clear. But you don't have a curve, right? You don't have any curve cards. You don't have any curve cards being offered in your class. You are missing a curve just like generally. So you're going to play like a mage, but your hero power puts something on the board. So you can use your hero power totems as taunts rather than being able to do anything on the board. And you're still going to have to use your like weapons because you still have like Jade Claws. You still have like your other like 2 mana overload weapon that I'm like Stormforge Axe. You still have your Stormforge Axe to deal the little damage, and then you have some spells to deal bigger damage. You're a mage now. Like Shaman and Ungoro is a mage. Shaman and Ungoro is not like an on the board totem shaman. It's not a it's not a whatever totemy shaman. The Fireguard totem.
What?
The Flame Tongue. It's not a Flame Tongue totem shaman anymore. Like, you don't have your... Like, the card that left is the 3/6 that buffs your totems. Like, you don't have that card anymore. The Thunderbluff Valiant. You don't have that card anymore.
You get that one right, but you got the other ones wrong?
I don't know, man. It's just stuff that's in my head. So, this is what's happening with the Shaman. It's moving off the board. It's starting to play off the board. And in a threat and response meta, it's kind of okay to do that, but you're not in a good spot. Like, Shaman's really powerful in 7.1, and you will still have the Lightning Storms, and now you will have another double-sided board clear. So you are a very, very, very much a control class now. Like, you're not all that flexible anymore. Yep. And that's kind of a shift in terms of how Shaman used to be played. Like, a pretty 180 kind of, like, shift. And it's not a good one. Like, it doesn't make the class better. Shaman is going to have issues in the Ungoro meta. And you're going to have to play it in a very conservative way. And again, you have one hard removal. You have a Hex. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
That's it. We'll see you on the other side with Mage.